welcome back to the Beehive Buzz. Yes, it's another video. You just ever have one of those days when you think, yeah, I shouldn't be sitting at my sewing machine today. Well, that doesn't happen very often. Well, I sat down and started sewing on my blocks back here. You can see right here that I've got some of these blocks. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need to do 13 of those. They're the, wow, I'm holding my camera, so this is bizarro. They're the 50, 40, or fight. So I'm sewing along, and I've got this fabric going, and I'm looking at it going, that's pretty fabric. That's kind of cute. And then I realized, hey, dingbat, it's like you've never sewn before. How about you sew right sides together? Yeah, that's a good thing to do when you're sewing, right? So, hello. This is what I'm spending my time doing. Well, of course, a block that size doesn't take very long to rip out. But first 30 seconds in my sewing session today, this is what it's come to. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this today. Well, the reason why I'm having a hard time is because my mind isn't on sewing. My mind is on tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm getting a root canal replaced. It's a root canal that I had done, 15 to 20 years ago, and it needs to be replaced. It's getting an abscess under some of the hardware, and it's time to clean it out. Yeah. So my mind's on that, and the weather's not real pretty. We're supposed to get a lot of snow and ice overnight. I'm hoping that it will be clear before we go tomorrow. If not, I'm probably going to have to reschedule, because this is one of the drawbacks of living in the country, is that the guy that does it, he's like 2 hours away from us, and we don't want to drive in the crud and crap and slippery conditions for 2 hours. So yeah, that's a thing. So spend some time with my friend Jack and try that block again. Good morning. This clip it's Saturday morning, and we had some weather come in yesterday. I got home from work, and no kidding, just as we were coming home, the snow started, so the timing was perfect. That's my son's car down there. Well, one of my son's cars. But you can see this like gray area over here. We're supposed to be able to see what's over there. It's not bad now. You can see it's kind of dripping, and you can hear the water coming off the roof. But, and we can see some road down there, which is nice. Sometimes that's just covered and you can't see anything. Where we live, the plows don't come through. We're like the last road in the county that they do, so a lot of times we're kind of left with just slip sliding our way down the hill. So that's why we always have four-wheel drive on our vehicles up here. I've got these little birch trees right here. They're not real. I got them at Christmas time, and they were really fun and festive, so we've just kind of left them out for the time being. The little lights on them are not pretty at night. I haven't even, walkway hasn't been shoveled yet. There's my vehicle. So yeah, this is Saturday morning. If it calms down a little bit, as you can see, it's pretty windy. I'm thinking about going a hike up our hill. It's behind me in the backyard later if the wind dies down. It's really not fun up there when it's windy. So we'll see. But for now, I have some sewing to do. So that's what's next. So here are the blocks I have done. There are 10 of them so far. I did 12 of the shoe fly blocks, and I need to do 13 of these, and I'm hoping to finish them up today so that I can at least start getting the blocks arranged how I want them. So I have my next block down here, the fabric picked out, and that's going to turn into one of these secondary blocks. So I'm going to get on that, and then I've got to do 2 more. Hang on to your stomach. We're going to twirl around here so you can see. This is my son's area. We call this room the playroom because it's where when my kids were little, all their toys and stuff were in here. It's actually an old-fashioned dining room in this farmhouse, but when we moved in, the kitchen's big enough for us to have our family table in there, and it was more important for us to have an area for everybody to play in and hang out in. The living room is the living room is over that way, which I is a mess right now. But anyway, so I'm working from these stacks of fabrics. They're from there. It's two layer cakes from the same line. The reason why I went with two, now the pattern only calls for one, and then one background fabric or yardage. I got two of these because I knew I was going to need more than just one package. Plus, I accidentally, I don't know how I did this, but I ended up drawing lines on the back of these way too much. And of course, they're white. And I don't want the line to show through in the quilt because you don't do that. I have plans for those after I get done with this quilt. But I didn't want to use the super dark pieces like this. I didn't want to use the black. That's not really in the color scheme for the wedding. And I knew I was going to want to use like a lot of these prints. And I knew I wasn't going to want to use like these really light colors because of the white background. So I went ahead and bought two of these layer cakes. And it's more than enough. Of course, you know how it goes. So what I'll do is do a bunch of half square triangles with whatever's left over with these guys, and just make a quick quilt with those pieces just to use up the leftover scraps as a cuddle quilt or something like that. So this is what I've got left. It's quite a bit, so it's not going to be a problem to do. I've got 2 blocks to pick out and cut out after the ones I'm working on, and the one I'm working on, and yeah, and then I'll excuse the sniffling. My sinuses have been outrageously difficult this week. Sorry about that. So yeah, I'm very excited about getting these blocks done and getting it designed and getting going, putting the rows together. I still have to get border fabric, and I still have to get backing fabric and batting, but I tend to do that after I put the quilt together so I can see what the overall feel of the quilt is, and then I go ahead and purchase what I need for that. I know that's bizarre. I've never heard of anybody else doing it that way, but I've always done that way. It's weird. And of course over here I have sitting on my table, whoops, Legos, is this pattern. I keep looking at it, trying to figure out the fabric I'm going to use. Of course, I need to go and find the fabric either online or at Joann's, but it just haven't had a chance to really spend a lot of time on it yet. Plus, I don't think that's going to take that long to make, so I feel more pressured to get the wedding quilt and the graduation quilt done than I do to make this dress right now. But I am looking forward to it. I think it's going to be nice. Like I said, my daughter-in-law is excited about it because she says, "Oh, it's going to kind of match a general theme with the other dresses and blah 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 blah." So, hey, I didn't even know that when I bought it, but as soon as I saw it, I went, "This looks like something that would be good for the wedding." All right, so let's get sewing. this is Tubby. This happens every single time I lay out quilt blocks to arrange. She just thinks it's her place to come and sit in the middle. Cat owners and quilters, you can relate, I'm sure. Tubby, want some tuna fish? Yeah, she's still there. So you may be wondering how I get the quilt from the floor. Oh, look, she's leaving. Haha. My quilt. Go away, cat. Go sit on the towels like you like to. Okay. So how do I get the quilt from the floor to my machine? Obviously, it's right where my chair goes without losing track of where everything is. This is very old school. This is simple. I make labels and I pin them onto each block. So this is row 1, block 1, row 1, block 2, row 1, block 3, and so forth and so on. So I'm going to attach those to each of the blocks so that I don't lose track when I stack them up and put them together. I know some people just do, here's row 1, here's row 2, and they don't label everything. I cannot keep track like that. I tend to get a little lost when I'm doing the sewing together, so I just found I'll just take a couple extra minutes and label everything, and then later I'm not looking at it going, what did I put that block over there for? But so far so good. So I am looking forward to getting these rows together. I'm going to get them labeled and then quit for lunch, and probably the rows won't be together for a couple of days, but we're coming along. I got to still get the border fabric and the backing and the batting, so there's still some purchasing to be done, but while I'm waiting to get that done, I can start on the graduation quilt once this top is put together as far as I can get it. So it's pretty. I love the colors in it.